Hey guys, GWS here to report my experience on a couple of places in particular on Discord. About it was 3 or 4 days ago, I was searching for the Secular Talk Reddit because I was bored. And so I just wanted to see what was on Secular Talk's Reddit. And then as you can see, there's the Discord. So here's what's on Secular Talk's Reddit. There's not a lot here. Most of it's left-wing hogwash. Stuff against Prager University, stuff against conservatism, and the usual left-wing shtick, if you will. But there is another thing. Like, here's the Secular Talk Discord. STR After Hours, which is a show run by one of Kyle's assistants. And so I went there, and then what was alarming to me was within like 10 seconds of going there and posting something against Kyle, I got immediately banned from the room. Which, of course, it should not be surprising because this is the left-wing attitude toward anything, to ban dissenting voices, etc. But what's really interesting is, and we'll go to the after hours and we're gonna read some stuff here. They sent me to this little basement room, and this is where stuff started to get really interesting, really disturbing, and really upside down. Because, okay, I get banned to this room. And so what I did was, at first, I just started trying to be funny, because I wanted them to ban me. I just kind of wanted them to finish the job, because it's like, I don't like it when something is done half-assed. I'd rather have the documentation, just show it. But what was interesting is, the more I was trying to get banned, the more all of a sudden they were reluctant to do it. And this resulted in those 3 to 4 days of just debating with people. And what's interesting is, like, you look at their general chat and all that, and I mean, don't necessarily look at the words, they aren't as meaningful, but like, not near as much activity. They're talking a little bit now, but as you can see, 2 hours. Yeah, they're not really talking that much. Like, you had a few minutes here where they were discussing. But then it goes back to 9 o'clock, and then if you go here, and this is just supposed to be a space for banned people. And let's go down to the bottom here. But you're going to see the increments, like recently, but stuff like last night and in the middle of the day, etc. The discussion is centered around me and what I'm saying. And this is super interesting because I mean, at that time I wasn't trying to get banned, but I used that reverse psychology to not get banned, and I got 4 days of debates. And this is one debate on economics. You can stop, pause, read it if you want. This is about the boom bust cycle we were debating. And then I debated net neutrality with them. I debated a lot of stuff. And then you get to the David Pacman server. And this is where it kind of goes from amusing to just flat disturbing. Because they had the same reluctance, because one of the goons here went over and told them the message that, hey, he wants to get banned, don't ban him. And so I used that to try to debate, and I'd go over voice, and this is more, David Pacman's more of an atheist religious debating place, and just the animosity that they showed toward any religious view, any non-Eurocentric view, or any right-wing view. Because, yeah, there was me, who was a right-winger, who came into debate. Um, and I'll never forget, too, there was a man who came in, I believe it was my second night. His name was Ahmed. And this was the nicest guy, way nicer than me. You know, because I wasn't that nice with them because they were combative. Because, well, let me just go over my debates first, then I'll talk about Ahmed. Just, I would start to debate, and they would act like they were going to go into an intellectual route, but then I would bring up an extremely complicated issue, such as, for example, on the life of Jesus, where I was told the incorrect statement that Christianity had not spread to Rome for centuries, which is demonstrably incorrect. And then all of a sudden, you get the ad hominem attacks once their arguments start to break down. And this is the thing, you know, I have a name for it now, too. And it's on this video, I'm sure you know. It's called the Underbelly of Atheism. And I think that perfectly describes it. Because it's like, if you look at atheism from the front, what they're presenting to you, it's almost like a peacock, or an elephant, or a rhinoceros, or just any animal. Like, an animal, when they face you, what they want you to see is right in front. Whether it be a thick horn, or whether it be, you know, standing on their hind legs with their trunk up in the air trying to look big, or a puffer fish. And what the animal does not want you to see is that underbelly, right? Because that's their weak point. That's the point that they're protecting. And this is the way atheism is. Because they present themselves as reasonable, moral, average, friendly neighbors, right? But then when you get to the actual substance, once you contest them, press them, debate with them, and you are able to play on their terms, and they are forced to take a step back, they don't take kindly to it. So, what ends up happening is that's when you get that underbelly, that emotional vulnerability, where they are going to silence you, they're going to demean you, they're going to resort to ad hominem attacks, they are going to do whatever is necessary, basically to get you away from them, because that is the whole point. Atheists want to be able to always present their front, and they have their structured yet fixed and non-critical ways of dealing with outside entities, and also of trying to expand upon their base. And so what you see with this reverse psychology of banning is that people on the left and atheists lack self-control. And that's one of the big problems, because, okay, yeah, there's reasonable arguments for left-wing ideas, I agree. And if you are a moderate left-winger, I think you can debate these things in a controlled manner and be able to concede some points with the right wing. But the problem with the left wing, and the problem that I experienced on these Discord servers, is that they are so far gone to the left that they cannot concede a single right-wing point. And this is a point that maybe, let's just say generously 40% of people agree with. You know, and it's like, for example, on another thing, GMOs. I was debating GMOs with somebody, and um, I kept saying my position is not so much a science-based position, but it is a position based on rationality. And that is when, or it is a, excuse me, it's not based on science, it's based on popular concern. You have people who are extremely concerned with GMOs, and okay, it may be irrational, I agree. But you have a huge percentage of people concerned and a low amount of effort to label something like that. And so I think it's reasonable to believe in that regulation. But, and you can disagree. You could say, okay, the science is in, and popular opinion does not dictate the science. And you'd have a valid argument. You'd have a very valid argument. But the problem was once he started getting pressed on this issue, that's when he goes to the ad hominem attacks, the immature responses, and just the overall lack of maturity when it comes to debating issues with somebody you fundamentally disagree with. And that's what I experienced there. Just the utter intolerance. Okay, this is... Alright, we're running. See, I'm paranoid because this is my second take. Okay, but just the utter intolerance of the left, of other opinions. Even if their opinions are more right-wing, they're intolerant. And that's the point. It's not so much that they're intolerant of right-wing ideas, it's that they're intolerant of any idea that is different from their own. And this lack of self-control, because you can see, like I said, this went on 4 days, and I wasn't exactly following the rules. Nor did I ask or beg not to be banned. And yet I remained, and I was able to get many days of debate, and it wasn't nuanced debate, but it was an ability to show and to educate people that I disagreed with, at least to my position. But yeah, bottom line is left-wingers have to get more disciplined. Because the fact is, we need young people to be successful, and the fact that you have young atheists such as on David Pacman or ultra left-wingers such as on Secular Talk, the fact that they're not able to find success in this world and that they're whining all the time, that's problematic. We need to put this country on a working path to success once more, and stop this inane babbling, being preachy, and not being able to have a civil discussion, because that carries over into the workplace as well. Thanks for listening, guys. God bless, and I'll be back sooner rather than later.